Alright, so what's up YouTube? It's the Night Saint here, back with another video. And this video is going to be called Avoid Toxic Masculinity at All Costs. Avoid the toxicity of the masculinity at all costs. So, this is something I was just thinking about. I think we live in a society now where it just really seems like people just be throwing words out. Just really throwing words that don't really know what they really mean. But also they have like these fucked up meanings for them. They have these very twisted meanings, and they don't really mean hold any weight. And if they do hold weight, they hold weight in a negative manner. My bad, it's a fucking that. And we see where these type of belief system and thoughts has like a chain reaction and cause these other things to happen. Now let's say, for example, the idea like they say like boys don't cry or men don't cry, some shit like that. I never heard that shit a day in my life. I swear to God. Even when I got over, I still never heard that shit. I probably heard that from a fucking lady saying that. I never heard no men never saying that. So that's why, in my mind, in my perspective, I never really believed in these type of phrases people be using, like toxic masculinity. Not saying they don't exist, but I'm just saying like when people say it and these type of phrases, they use them to a certain extent. I think that, you know, I do believe it has some truth to it, but I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. I never really had no bearing. I never heard that shit a day in my life. And more times that I heard it coming from women. I never heard it coming from like no dude, no man. Like to my boy, like men don't cry. I never heard no shit like that before. So when the internet try to push like dudes like pushing toxic masculinity, I never really believed it. To a certain extent they are. Let's say with the red pill space and all the just space on the internet, you can see people are pushing it, I guess now, and it's very hyper and it's not grounded in any type of reality. It's just goofy, and it's like it's playing on people's desires and their own insecurities. So when I say avoid toxic masculinity, it's like these ideologies that people try to push on you and these expectations that people try to push on you, especially when they have no bearing. Like women, I to a certain extent, I don't believe women should be able to tell a man how to be a man. I think that should be a given, because let's be honest. That's like a dude trying to tell a woman how to be a woman to a certain extent. And that's probably 90% of the time. You can have your opinion, whatever, but you can't tell somebody how to be something that you are not. That's just my opinion. And it be blowing me out. People really, like the internet has people so much up their own ass they don't see that. And it's like everybody sounds so entitled. Everybody's so arrogant. It's like everybody got the nerve to be trying to tell somebody else what's the right thing to do or what they should be doing. That's one thing I don't like. Of course, I come on here, I give my opinion, but you know, this is not something that is as like, let's say, I'm about to say catastrophic. It's something as big as like gender. Like gender is important. That's big. That's a big topic. It seems like it's always like a gender war going on, and people are just so arrogant about. People are just so egotistical that they can't see past themselves. They can't see past who they are. And it's really on both sides. Like it's like there's nobody that's hands is clean. So that's why I don't like when they just be pointing fingers. But not to get too far off the topic of the video about avoiding it at all costs. Let's say an ideology like the boys don't cry thing. As a human being, I'm about to say you are a human being in the womb before you become a fucking whatever gender you're supposed to be. You're a being. Period. Beings have feelings. I'm about to say you have emotions. You have you have feelings. You have vulnerabilities. That just you grow up as a human. When you develop as a human, that's just the things that you just tend to develop. And you have to understand that everything that you have, everything that we have is here for a purpose. Even feelings, even like one thing I always, when I heard it, it just sounds so cool. It sounded cool, but it sounded like, it's very poetic. They said that tears are showers for the soul. And just me growing up, I was always a sensitive kid. I had no problem being sensitive. That's just who I was. I accepted that shit quick on. People say I be trying to act tough. I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe because I go around with a straight face all day. But people that know me, I'm probably one of the most. I joke around too much. You see me too much with a smile on my face, so I'm never the type that like act tough. That's just not me. Maybe just because I'm very stoic at times. I'm just like straight facing everything. And I kind of be sulking a little bit, but not like in like a mad way. It's kind of like a default. But people always seem that I'm mad, and to a certain extent, that is me still carrying out, a toxic masculinity ideal, even though it's very unconscious that I do it. like just going around looking like I'm mad all day. And I mean, it is what it is for right now. But in the sense of like ideas, like that you should control your emotions. Your emotions should be under control to a certain shit. I do agree with that. For the most part, it do need to be under control because, for one, I mean, personally, I feel like to a certain extent, it's 50-50. You should have your emotions on your sleeve, and I think that's more speaking to people who you can trust, people who you can really interact with, and trust that that's gonna hold your feelings to the highest regard and not play with them. And then to a certain other extent, you should have to control your emotions under control. That you just not no just overly expressive person just because the outside world don't know how to react to that. The outside world doesn't you know interact with that well. You're seen as dangerous that way. Like you're very unpredictable. You that emotional and just outwardly. And that's something that I had to really internalize and really get within myself and not have to worry about the outside society and how they perceive me to be to a certain extent. Because I am very like emotional at times and not in the sense of like where I'm destructive, but like sometimes I just be like, sometimes like somebody would say something to me and like if I see like certain things like it's a trigger for me, like I start my heart start beating quick and I start getting like kinda, teary eyed. I'm like just like seeing something like real life shit. I be like I can't help it. Like sometimes I just always been this sensitive since I've been a kid, but I never allowed that to stop. I never allowed society to ever try to make me feel bad for how I felt about certain things, and I never allowed society to ever make me feel like my feelings weren't validated because I think to a certain society will make you feel like how you feel isn't validated. And not saying just because your feelings are validated, A, B, C, D, or behaviors are really accepted, or you should do those type of behaviors. But most of the time, when my feelings were expressed or just happened to just come out, I was never the type to really. I don't follow how I feel at times. Like even though I may be feeling one thing, I'm out like take crashing out. Sometimes it's been many times where I feel like crashing out, like my emotions, and I just started just shit just start hitting the fan. It's like and sometimes you gotta take the time to really think about what you're doing. Like that's usually how I am. But like I say, more times often than not, my feelings are always. I got better at really feeling my feelings through whatever I'm going through, and I don't allow them to really, get the best of me. And that's kind of where the sweet spot is. It's like finding that middle ground within yourself, where you can exercise enough restraint with yourself that you're not bottling up these things, because that's the thing. I think humans were never meant to bottle up things. Like I said, if we get emotional about things, emotions, specific type of emotions and feelings are meant to, you know, cause us to action. It's promoting us to do something that we may deem as important. So that's why you have these feelings, and you should never ignore these feelings. I'm not saying you should super indulge in these feelings, but you gotta understand and respect that they have a place, just like you have a place in the grand scheme of reality. Respect your feelings, respect them, and allow them to be as they are. And certain aspects of society, I think partially what toxic masculinity is like it's teaching you to become like it's dehumanized. I seen on the video this dude was like, it's kind of crazy how this kind of dudes is like they idea of masculinity is very dehumanizing, and it's kind of crazy how who would want to live like that where you don't have no feelings or you don't have no well, of course you're so strong, you are the strong person, but you have no backbone in the sense of nobody there to support you. You just taking care of everything, and like they expect some people to, or some men to really be just the protectors, the providers, everything, A, B, C, D, all these expectations, and then there's no soul behind it. There's no spirit. There's no character. There's no individual behind there, and that's what you be trying to avoid. These type of gurus and shit be on the internet trying to tell you about be giving people these dreams and these desires that's very just material, and it's not leaving shit for your soul. It's not leaving shit for your sanity and your peace inside your heart. And it's sad to see. I'm about to say and kind of interesting that I was able to see it, and then And I think that's just a natural progression in life where you learn that some things you don't take everything of. I can say I'm an internet kid just because from the internet I always learn things. I always like reading. I like gaining new information, whether it's a video, whether it's a movie, whether it's a book. If it's something that I'm looking for, I'm gonna read it and just figure out what it is. And so when you know the masculinity, I guess that shit came back up. Everybody like, damn, all the gurus trying to tell people, I guess, yeah, men are logical and shit like that, but we humans, not if I say, yeah, we are more logical, but we still have an emotional aspect to ourselves. And people trying to tell you to be these super logical people, you missing out on life. You missing out on life and the other aspect of life when you tune into how you feel with things. And that's a whole nother video, and I'm gonna say that for a whole nother day. But these type of people, these are very toxic masculine people. They're very hyper masculine, and this type of shit, that type of belief system is very destructive. It's almost like in the sense of like a hyper feminine woman. Like it's destructive, and whatever, something that's too much of one thing is always bad. If it's always if it's always to the highest degree, it leaves zero room for the other half or whatever it is to really work with it well. They I hate to say like a cliche is the yin and yang is just like that shit is terrible, and you can't have one without the other. So if y'all like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Thank you.